Good afternoon. Today I will be showing you how to needle felt a cat that looks like a loaf of bread. And the materials I'll be using are first felting needles that are very sharp, so use caution. Scissors and shears that are used to cut and trim the wool. And next I'll be using a needle and a thread. These sewing needles are not as sharp as felting needles, but are still sharp enough to cause damage, so use caution. I am using a foam mat to keep the felting needles from hitting the hard surface and breaking the needles. It will save you money, trust me. And I'll be using metal eyes for the cat's face. For the main body of the cat, I'll use white wool and a secondary wool color, pink, for the details on the cat, like the stripes, and if you would like to make spots instead of stripes like cats usually have, you can. This is optional and changeable, so if you want different colors, you can go and do that. When I start the main body, I roll the white wool into a condensed shape. With my needle tool, I lightly stab the sides until it properly holds its shape. After that, I continue to stab it with the needle tool so I can form it into the shape that I want it to be for the main body. The ears are flat pieces, so I start by folding the wool over itself and stabbing it with my needle tool. I had already made a matching ear off camera, so I cut out another ear, matching it as close a size as I can with the other. For the inner pink of the ear, I put pink wool over the ear and stabbed it into the ear with the single needle tool. And when you do this, make sure you're creating an edge with the wool. For the tail, I used pink wool and bundled it together and used my needle tool to weave it together. And I rotated it every now and then to make sure every side of it got worked on. I compared the tail to the main body so I can know whether it's proportionate or not, since I did not measure the wool that I used. When I work on the end of the tail, stabbing it vertically, be extra careful when doing this. The needle will easily go through the wool and your finger. I realized that I made the tail pink when I actually wanted to make it white, so I took white wool and wrapped it around the tail, attaching it with the needle tool. This actually makes the tail stronger and look nicer. To curve the tail, you pinch both ends so where it's bent, and you keep stabbing it with the needle tool until it holds its curved shape. With my pink wool, I make stripes or rings on the tail the same way I did with the ears. When I attach the tail, I make sure that it is in the right place, and I start to attach the tail by stabbing through the tail and into the body several times. I left extra pink wool and stabbed that into the body, giving it extra strength, but since the pink wool wasn't supposed to be there, I added white wool around the tail, and it gave that extra strength and hid the pink. When I attach the ears to the body, I make sure to have them as symmetrically as possible before stabbing through the ear and into the body, weaving it together, similar to how I did the tail. As an extra measure, I wrap wool around the ears. So I can insert the eyes smoothly, I repeatedly stab in one place where I want the eyes to go before inserting them. Right here I tried to do a pink mouth, but then I decided to go with a blush instead, but I didn't get that on camera. I decided to sew in the mouth, and I wanted to make it V-shaped. I start by going under with the thread to the face, starting with the left side of the V, then going back down into the body where you want the base of the V to go, and then I go back to the face through the point that you want the right side of the V to be, and then going back through the base again, and you're done with the mouth. To secure it more, I went over it a second time with the thread. If you don't want to see the thread at the bottom, you can easily cover it with wool and then attach it with your needle tool.